Hi, I'm Steve Purcell, writer and director on Cars on the Road. My very first job at Pixar was as a storyboard artist on the very first Cars film. So over the years, I've drawn Lightning McQueen many times. So today I'm going to show you how I draw Lightning McQueen, and after that I'll show you a very special version of Lightning McQueen that appears in the Cars on the Road series, Cave McQueen. Let's get started. When I'm drawing any of the Cars characters, they all start with kind of a box shape. It's kind of like a shoebox sitting on the floor. So I kind of rough that in lightly, and then I put in where the windshield is going to be on top of that box. So that gives me my basic shape of the character. It's a rectangle with a bump on the top where the eyes are going to be. And then I start softening to make it look more like the real Lightning McQueen. So I have rounded fenders. I start defining where the windshield is. And I put his spoiler on the back. It sticks up and it helps me sort of identify where the back part of him is. And then his wheels, since he's a racing car, his wheels are pretty big and they sit up high in his wheel wells. That took me a while to learn. I used to make his wheels much too small, so it took me a while to give them sort of the size they need to have. So once I have those shapes together, I usually put his eyes in, give him kind of a expression with his eyebrows. It doesn't have to be one line, it can be a line that's different. It changes in the middle. You can get a lot of expressions out of him that way. And McQueen's smile usually has a lot of confidence in it. Sometimes I push his smile up on one side to make it look like he's kind of cocky. It's his personality. So for Cars on the Road, we gave him a simple paint job. Basically just a lightning bolt with his number. He doesn't have the name of all his sponsors on him for the road trip, because it's kind of like he's wearing his casual wear. So we wanted him to look like he's sort of wearing a more comfortable version of his paint. Sometimes I put a shadow under him to make it show where the ground is. And I like putting a little bit, like a little puff of smoke behind him to kind of show that he's moving. Something I find really funny about the Dino Park episode is that Lightning really loves dinosaurs. He loves watching dinosaur documentaries. I guess he has a lot of time to watch TV in the back of Mac's trailer when he's on the road between races. So I'll do some ink lines on him to just make him a little darker. Make the outlines more noticeable. But you could use whatever you want to draw. You could use crayons, you could use ballpoint pen, you could use a pencil. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The point of it is to have fun. How do you want it to look? We came up with some pretty challenging names for our dino cars for the Dino Park episode. I think my favorite out of the bunch of them is Spino Crank Shafterix. What a mouthful. I think we have a lightning here, so let's move on. We'll do Cave Lightning. So when I was trying to come up with the idea of Cave Lightning and Cave Mater, the idea is to make them look really rough and have kind of sharp edges and feel like they have elements made of stone. They have like stone-looking wheels and, you know, bony prominences over their foreheads, which I think is really funny. All right. So like I was saying, all these characters kind of start with a rectangular box shape. So that's what I'll do with this one as well. But what's different about Cave Lightning, he's not softened up like the kind of smooth angles of regular McQueen. This one is more kind of rough looking. It's like he's made out of kind of primitive metal. And I gave him this bony ridge over his eyes. So I'm gonna leave these sharp angles on him. Let his teeth stick out a little bit. And this one, Cave McQueen, his wheels look like they're made out of rocks. So we thought that would be very silly. With kind of a piece of wood sticking through them. Like that's his axle. So everything about this guy is a little bit rough. His spoiler is made out of bamboo. Just because it makes him look like, you know, he's made of primitive materials. I like to put little bumps and cracks in him. Kind of looks like he has a beard's trying to grow on him or something. So you can see how silly that looks. I think one of the things I thought was fun about the Dino Park episode was kind of turning it on its head, that you might think that Mater's the one that's all excited about dinosaurs, but it's really Lightning McQueen that thinks dinosaurs are cool, and Mater is worried that he feels like he's kind of being pushed into learning stuff, and he's not into it. Put some ink on him just to make these lines stand out a little more. I like drawing with all kinds of different mediums. I like drawing with pen, I like drawing with crayon, I like drawing with pencil, I like drawing with paint. So whatever you like is the right choice. We tried to capture this idea of stop motion for the dinosaur movement because we thought it was really fun to look at. It was kind of a throwback, felt like it was from another time period, and felt really different from the world that we came into at the beginning of the episode. I'll put a couple of cracks in his wheels. Put a little shadow under him, show where the ground is. If I wanted to, I could put a couple of rocks or things like that, or prehistoric bushes around him. Palm tree shapes. And there you have it. There's Cave McQueen. So here's our regular version of McQueen, and here's our caveman version of McQueen. And there you have it. You start with simple shapes and build it up over time, and you have yourself a Lightning McQueen or a Caveman McQueen. So thanks for watching. We had a lot of fun. Hope we get to do this again. Bye for now.